Tonight was set up to be the most important game for the Kettleers in their last 5 seasons. After dropping Game 1 in heartbreaking fashion in extras, but posting a jaw-dropping amount of runs for a Game 2 win to even the series, it would be winner-take-all tonight for Cotuit vs Wareham at Spillane Field as the Kettleers looked for the underdog upset and their first advancement into the second round of the playoffs in 5 years. Looking to start Game 3 off on a better note than they did Game 1, Matt Mervis put Cotuit in an ideal spot when he batted second in the first inning and torched a sky-high ball down the right field line that flirted with foul territory, but the umpires ruled that it hung just fair as it clanged off a pole in right for a solo dinger by the Duke Blue Devil that put Cotuit up 1-0. Later in the first, with 2 runners on, Parker Chambers swung a bit late and blooped a ball to shallow opposite field. He turned out to have hit the ball the perfect distance because it fell into left just past the third baseman's outstretched glove for a double that would bring around Casey Schmidt to score and put Cotuit up by 2. However, forgetting last night, Wareham rejuvenated their ability to respond, and in the bottom of the first with a runner on, Adrian Del Castillo grounded a single between first and second that brought the runner home to score and cut Cotuit's lead in half. But Cotuit's defense was also determined to do their part today, and they surely showed it when Cody Pasek popped up and gunned to throw down to second to catch a stealing runner to end the first. And after that, Cotuit's starter for the day, Nick Jones, who was less than stellar in his first appearance in Wareham in the regular season, had clearly put that behind him because he allowed no more runs through his next 2 innings pitched, ending the fourth with a strikeout to end his outing. First out of the bullpen was late newcomer Harrison Cohen, who was making his first appearance of the season. Although he gave up a leadoff single in the fourth and that runner got to third, he got 3 straight outs to end the inning, his last being a strikeout that he punctuated with an emphatic yell as he walked off the diamond. In the fifth, Cotuit was at the plate looking for insurance runs. After Matt Mervis doubled to the right field corner to put he and Gonzalez in scoring position, they looked poised to get their insurance. But later in the inning, with the bases loaded and 2 outs, it was possible Wareham would get out unscathed. And they might have if not for Colton Kessler, who fouled off 3 balls in a superb 8-pitch at-bat to work a hard-fought and very clutch walk that would move the runners over and bring home Cotuit's 3rd run of the game. Now with a 2-run cushion, the Kettleers were determined not to give Wareham an inch while on defense. Despite a leadoff single, Cotuit ended the 5th inning with a smooth 4-6-3 double play. In the 6th, Cody Pasek, one of the stars of yesterday's victory, flew a ball to deep left field that allowed Adam Oviedo to dash home from third to score on the sac fly and put Cotuit up 4-1. And in the bottom of 6, Casey Schmidt, who had entered in the 5th and was likely to be tasked with finishing the game, would strike out the side to close out his 2nd inning of work. And in the 7th, Wareham got the leadoff man on for the 5th time in 7 innings, but even with that base runner on, Schmidt got 3 straight outs again, fanning the last batter for his 4th K of the day. The Kettleers didn't do much offensively after the 6th, and Wareham finally threatened in the 8th when they got 2 runners in scoring position after a 1-out double. But Casey Schmidt was a steely-eyed missile man on the bump today as he got the next batter to fly out. Then he got out of the jam by ringing up Dallas Beaver to end the inning as he stared down pitchers in the Wareham bullpen who'd been chirping him throughout the frame. And going into the bottom of the 9th up 3 runs, the Kettleers only needed Casey Schmidt to force 3 Gateman outs in order to complete the underdog series victory in which they would overcome a heartbreaking Game 1 loss to win the next 2. Casey started the inning off strong with another strikeout, his 6th of the night. Then he got Trey Lipscomb to ground out to Adam Oviedo, who made a slick backhand pick before making the throw to first for out number 2. And with the Cotuit faithful on their feet in the third base grandstands, Casey Schmidt stood on the hill with a 2-2 count to Zach Mathis. He fired in a fastball to get Mathis swinging and seal not just a 4-1 victory for Cotuit, but also a division championship berth. With that, Cotuit has now won their first playoff series since 2014, and against the team that knocked them out of the playoffs last year in the Wareham Gateman. Numerous people have told me throughout this season that this summer's team is something special, something the likes of which hasn't been seen in Cotuit in many years. And these Kettleers have just won the team's first playoff games in half a decade. To me, that seems like more than just a coincidence. With that, we hope to see you at 6 at Gov Fuller Field in Falmouth tomorrow to support the Kettleers in Game 1 in the Western Division Championship Series. And lastly for tonight, we spoke with an emotional and joyful Coach Roberts about what the win today meant for him. And sending you now to our interview with him and signing off for the Cotuit Kettleers, I'm Jacob Cohen.
Coach, Matt Mervis got this game off in such a great way with that first inning home run, really set the tone for the game. How big was that hit for your team in this one?
No doubt. You jump out in front, and it's huge. You know, playing from behind in a do-or-die game is not easy to do, and their pitching, the pitching they used tonight was very good. And you know, all I'd like to say is I told these guys in June that I had a good feeling. I thought this was a really good club. And certainly we lost some people. There's new pieces. I can't say enough about the guys who have been here the whole summer. You know, incredible Mervis and Smitty and Cody and all the guys that have been here and the guys that filled in. And look at tonight. We had 2 new pitchers on the mound. And we don't win without those 2 new guys. So I'm just thankful for all of them and the pieces. And I just hope they'll be very humble in this. And, you know, it's a good accomplishment, but I want them to enjoy it in a professional and humble manner.
Nick Jones especially, 0 starts at Georgia Southern this past year. Comes in Game 3, winner go home, pitches wonderfully. How impressive was it?
Yeah, very impressive. You know, after meeting Nick, for me, I just thought he's a very mature young man. And as I sat at home in the cottage last night by myself, you know, I just thought, you know, who is the best person to get us there? And, you know, he walked on at Georgia Southern, and that takes a lot of maturity to do that. And I just felt like he was the right guy. And then after watching Cohen throw a couple pitches yesterday, I got excited, took him out of the ballgame, said, "You're pitching tomorrow, young man." And then, of course, I knew Casey was the guy to close. So I'm just really thankful.
Schmidt, 2nd and 3rd. Del Castillo at the plate. The kid hit 12 home runs at .330 at Miami. How big of an out was that to sit him down with that first pitch?
Big, you know. But I tell you, Casey he's like Sully. He is so comfortable on the mound. And in all my years, in my almost 50 years of doing this, I think Smitty is probably one of the top 5 competitors that I've ever coached. He is fierce, and he is out here to win. And he was the right guy on the mound for us tonight.
Last question. We saw that Falmouth beat Bourne earlier. I'm not sure if you heard.
I didn't know that.
8-2. So can you give us just a brief preview of that game tomorrow?
All I can tell you is we'll show up. That's all I know right now. I'm just going to enjoy this for just a few minutes, but we'll be in Falmouth tomorrow, whatever game time is.